Hello and welcome to another PetrolBlog video. In this one I'm going to try to explain why I bought this year 2000 Renault Megane Convertible. It's probably worth saying that following the fleet video of, what was it, a week ago? It's hard to tell what's what now in the lockdown. No one chose this one as the car to feature next. I think the Mercedes was the leader, followed by the ZX. But there's a good reason why I've decided to do the Megane. A, it's sunny, and this is a convertible, as you can see. And also, it's 20 years old this month. In fact, it was registered in the UK on the 17th of April, so it's coming up to its 20th birthday. So I figured that was a good enough reason to get this featured. And also because actually, I think this is far more interesting than it first appears. It's actually one of the cheapest convertibles you can buy in the UK. You can pick these up for as little as 500 quid. So it's right at the bottom of the depreciation curve. Well into banger territory, actually. We paid 500 quid for this in the year 2016, July 2016. And regular readers of PetrolBlog will remember that the reason we got hold of this, or the reason we bought it, we had no intention of buying it, by the way. We went up to Dorset to rescue 3 goats from the curry pot. They were quite literally going to go in for curry. And we weren't about to let that happen. And we were at the farm, and my wife was negotiating the deal for the goats. And I chanced upon this in the corner of the farm, looking slightly worse for wear, looking like a farm vehicle would look like. And I happened to mention that, ooh, that's a nice convertible, without saying too much. And it turns out it was for sale. So, cutting to the chase, a week later we were driving back from Dorset with 3 goats, Henry, Hoover and Dyson, because they eat a lot, I think that's why we called them that. Yeah, they eat a lot. And this Megane, obviously the goats didn't travel in the car, although there is room. You know, there's enough room for 2 goats in the back and 1 in the front. So we've had it 4 years, and actually, touching wood, it's actually been one of the most reliable cars we've owned. It's had a few things to get through the MOT, but it's silly things like tyres and an insecure battery, which I'm very ashamed about. I failed an MOT because of an insecure battery, which isn't good enough. But is it a good looking car? I think it's a stunning looking car. Now two of the reasons why I think this is more exotic than people realise is if you look down here just in front of the rear wheels, that is a Carman badge, which means it's related to the Sirocco and the Corrado and the Golf convertible and the Beetle convertible and the Escort convertible. So it's got some heritage. This is what happened basically. Carman handled the body in white and the roof mechanism, and then the car was shipped off to Dieppe, where the car was painted or assembled and then painted at the Renault Alpine factory. So, you know, there's a good story to this car. And one of the most fascinating things about this car is the roof mechanism, which I'll show you in a minute. And the reason why it's still working is because, well, a lot of this car is German. Obviously the engine is French. It's a 1.6 litre Renault engine, but a lot of it is German. And I posted on Twitter, on the PetrolBlog's Twitter account this week, Renault didn't build a bad looking Megane Phase 1. Even the hatchback, the 4-door saloon, looks half decent, although, as is obvious, someone pointed out on Twitter, and it's a very good point. Clearly Renault photoshopped the hatchback in the advert. I'll post a link to that tweet in the description below, because the wheels are too big and the bum was too small. This was the days before they started shaking that ass. I mean, this is the facelift Megane, so it's a slightly more generic and less eye-catching front end, but it's pretty. It's a pretty looking car. I think yellow really suits it. And this is the Sport Elise trim, so it's near enough top trim, near enough. And this was £18,900 in April 2000, which could have got you a mid-range Laguna, so it was quite an expensive car. And I think it was also more expensive than the arguably prettier, actually not arguably, definitely prettier 306 Cabriolet. Bodywork wise, it's a good 10-yard car, to be fair. Let me point out some of the issues. Before I do, for any Belgian viewers, this was David Platt's Renault. As you remember from the 1990 World Cup, David Platt scored that last minute winner against Belgium for England. Sorry to bring back any bad memories. How long was that now? 30 years ago. Jeez. Right. This bit here, this was done by a cow kicking the car. It's left a pretty nasty scar, but probably could try and fix it, but actually it's part of its character. Lives up to its French tag. Down here it's all pretty good. I mean, you can see bits where it's had run-ins with gateposts, I would imagine. I don't think it's had many careful owners. It's had owners. I think we're probably the most careful owners it's had since it was new, or at least when it was sold by Sytner, High Wycombe, which I think is a BMW dealer. So it has kept good company. This fog light here is looking worse for wear and needs to be replaced. This had fallen off, so it's been stapled and glued, but I don't think it's going to last 5 minutes. Hello, Mr. Bumblebee. Save the bees. And as you can see, it's had a few run-ins on the front, so it's a good 10-yard car. But the nice thing about that is we're not too precious about it. I mean, it's used in all weathers. You know, it's used as a bit of a hack, really, a good fun hack. And with the roof down, it's brilliant. It does something none of the other cars on the fleet can do. So it earns its keep for doing something different. You can see I've used some touch-up paint there. Again, it hides it. From a distance, you wouldn't know any problems with it. And also, I don't know if you're going to see it in this light, but I'm just going to show you the bonnet. A cow sat on the bonnet. So, cows and Meganes don't mix. You need to move out the way. Other terrible puns are available. And also, I also thought this was a bit clumsy, the badging. It's a bit clumsy, really. Lots of badges going on there. I think the inside we've best described as functional and elephant grey. Of its time, I guess. There's not much to lift the mood. White dials, I suppose, is the sportiest thing going on about it. But if you like elephant grey, you're in luck. But as I said, with the roof down, you've got all the sky to look at. Not much room in the back. That seat's in my position, and if you've got no knees, you'll be all right. But really, it's very much a 2+2. Right. One thing I hadn't noticed till recently is that it's actually got a priest hole. So if you actually find it getting too uncomfortable in the back here, and your mum and dad won't let you out, you can lift this hatch and escape through the car. Great, isn't it? A little priest hole in the Megane. I'll show you the other side of it. Boot. The roof doesn't impact on the boot at all. Copy of Car Magazine from when this car was new. The other side of the priest hole is there. I mean, you've got a slight issue. If the boot's not open, you're going to be stuck inside the boot, because there's no way of opening the boot on the inside. So you are going to be stuck in there until somebody lets you out. It's a functional boot. It's not much room. Obviously the roof, which I'll show you in a bit, eats into it here. But you know, you've got enough room. We can go shopping in this. It's not a problem. David Platt managed it. Right, let me show you the roof in its various stages of, well, peacock. It's like a peacock when it goes up. It draws attention to itself. One thing you have to do, as you've probably seen before, the handbrake has to be on for it to work, or the ignition has to be on, and then you lift it up. And the first thing that happens, phase one, is that. So the first thing that happens is effectively the rear deck lifts up, the double bubble rear deck. Okay, so that lifts up, and the roof is all tucked away inside here. I tell you what, the Germans did a wonderful job on this. Look at that strut mechanism, proper job. Okay, let's see if I can get this to work without being in the car, make it more interesting. Okay, so then the roof comes up, I suppose phase two. So the transformation, the Renault Megane transformation is in progress. Phase two, so, and it folds down, and then that folds up, and then the deck closes down, the roof folds back, and then the final bit is manual. You have to make sure you don't damage your head. Fold in, pull it down, lock shut. Job done. And what you've got now very much is almost a coupe, because I'll come back to the rear window in a minute. You've almost got a coupe because you can have the rear windows can be shut, can be opened and closed independently with the front windows, so you can have it like that. And that's a nice way to travel. The biggest problem on this car, and it looks at its tattiest, is when the roof's up, because as you can see, pretty much blind, that roof's gone. There are kits available. I've seen kits available in the United States for about 200 quid. You have to unstitch the window to do it. So far, not brave enough to attempt it. Most of the time we go out in this car, it's sunny, so the roof is down, so it's not much of an issue, but reversing is almost impossible. But thankfully, or helpfully, Renault fitted a electric aerial which only goes down to there. So when you're reversing, look out the rear view mirror. That almost shows you where the back of the car is. Isn't that helpful? Do you know what? I'm going to put the roof back down. As David Platt would testify, it certainly looks better with its roof down. Pretty car. Pretty car. On a day like today, it's a shame we're locked down, because this would be lovely for going across the moors. That's it really. Not much else to say about the Megane Cabriolet Convertible. Hope you've enjoyed it. I doubt you have, but thanks for wading through. Next video, what do you reckon? Mercedes? Enough people have asked for it, so maybe it should be, because it is the car that sticks out like a sore thumb on the fleet, because, well, it's good for a start. Yeah, stay safe, look after yourself, see you soon. Look, bonus footage for you subscribers. The goats have arrived. That is Pepsi. Hello. That's Guzzle. No, that's Gizzy. That's Guzzle. That's Henry. He's the only one left at the Dorset goats. The other ones unfortunately died. Kitty. Little kitty. Look at his face. And Smokey. Smokey's got arthritis, bless her. We rescued her from Hampshire. We seem to rescue goats from the home counties. So look, they are the goats with the Megane. That's what it's all about. That's the kind of footage you don't get on any other motoring channel. Enjoy. Goodbye.